I want to tell you of another instance. I'll tell you some of them this morning, not all. I want to tell you about another instance involving our National Commercial Bank. And the more I check and research these issues, and the more information I gather, it is clear to me that Gonsalves and his gang have lost their way. All of you know that everything here, I call it a thing, here called National Properties Limited. A lot of government's crown land government owns, was handed over or vested, is the correct word, was vested in national properties, including some buildings too. And you know that national properties has therefore a lot of assets. They even had lands in Beckway, vested for them to be sold to use to finance the Phantom Airport we have out there. So it is a big organization that has a lot of assets. So lands all about have been put in that organization. If you look in the schedule of the estimates at the public debt of this country, you will see that national properties, as of September the 30th, 2009, owed $77 million between the NIS and the NCB. $77 million. Now, so they have put this land in national properties. By a deed of conveyance, you know when land is handed from one to the other, it is conveyed. By a deed of conveyance numbered 2008 of 2010, national properties sold 2 parcels of land at Mountwin and Petershope to the National Commercial Bank. National properties selling government land to government institutions. All these schemes that we have happening. National properties by a deed of conveyance, and I gave you the number. On the 25th of June, 2010, sold 2 parcels of land to the NCP. 1 parcel of land measured 69.2 acres, and the other parcel measured 52.1 acres, making a total of about 121 acres. And you know how much they sold it for? $37 million. This land was sold. That is what the conveyance says. I have a copy of the conveyance. It's a public document. That land was sold for $37 million. This amounts to $305,705 an acre. The NCB is not a real estate agent. The NCB is a bank. And Act number 3 of 2006, the Banking Act, prohibits dealing in real estate, except you take it from somebody who defaulted on their loans. But going to real estate development is frowned down by banking circles. And our act provides for that. So here we have a situation where the NCP is supposed to pay $37 million for 121 acres of land. Government land. I never hear anything like that since I was born. But why is this happening? Why is this happening? Is it that national properties ain't paying its loan to the NCB? And that the NCB taking the land without giving them the money so they can sell the land to clear off the loan? That's a question you have to ask. That's a question you have to ask, but it doesn't negate the fact that that land was government land in the first case and sold to a government being sold to a government institution. So the NCP will now have to go into business if that is the case and be a real estate agent to sell the land to clear the $30 or so million that national properties owes to the NCB. They think they can fool people. They ain't fooling the NDP. They ain't fooling Arnhim Eustace with none of this kind of fiction here that they're bringing on the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, when I see this, I have to ask a lot of questions. I have to ask a lot of questions. What happened to the $47 million that national properties owe to the NIS? Are they paying that? Are they paying that? If they're not paying the NCB, are they paying the NIS? And you know what the NIS is for? The NIS is paying out over $130 million a year to people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for their pensions, death benefits, maternity grants, and so forth. And NIS has to remain a strong financial institution capable of paying those pensions and those benefits long past our time, long past the time of the lifeboat of any of us here in this hall today. So I want to know, Gunsabs, is National Properties paying its loan to the NIS? I want to know, because you know, the NIS already took a blow last year when CLECO and British American collapsed. We had $62 million of NIS money invested in that institution, and the NIS is not making money on that now. So when you add this one to it, if National Properties is not paying, where are we going? What is going to happen to the NCB? And anybody who is coming to buy a bank, they're going to investigate all the loans and the portfolio of the bank to see whether it is worth buying and what price they should pay for it. And the worse the portfolio is with these kind of loans, is the less money you will get for it, if they buy it at all. So all these things are tied together and of critical importance to all of us in this room, all of us listening to this broadcast that we have in here today on this convention. It's going to affect our lives, because I am predicting here today that the NIS will have to increase the rates of contribution that you have to pay to the NIS if it's to remain solvent and be able to pay pensions going forward. I predict today that in addition to that, you won't get pensions at 60. You might get your pension at 65. Because the NIS has suffered those two blows. The problem with CLECO, British American, and the problem with National Property.